Everyone. Tonight with the Gauntlet gaming community, we are going to be playing Carolina Death Crawl by Jason Morningstar. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And I guess we will go in character keeper order and I'll introduce my character when you get to me because I am not the officer.
Cool, so that's me. Yeah, so I'm Gareth and I am playing Lieutenant Charles Shanks. All I really know at the moment is he's an officer in the 1st North Carolina Cavalry, and he's also a deserter. And I guess we'll find out what that's about as we play.
And even from which army? I don't know.
Yeah. Union, I guess. Yeah, right. I got that right. Cool.
I mean, currently in the Union Army.
Yeah, I deserted, so we'll see. We'll find out. I'm very confused, to be honest, with what I'm doing at the moment, but I'm sure it will become clear.
I'm Kieran Gillen. I'm he, him. I'm playing Sergeant Lemuel Eager, who is the veteran sergeant who is unfortunately also criminal. The main criminality he has is the amazing pair of sideburns, and that's all we know about him so far, and we're very interested to find out more.
And I will be playing Corporal Isaac Ross Tucker, a double-barrel name. I'm sure he has a double-barrel shotgun. Intellectual and idealist, and that is a combination that never brings anyone to grief.
It's certainly not during wartime when those traits are so valued. I'm Jim Crocker. I generally use he, him pronouns, but if you're using they, them more generically, that's totally fine with me too. I'm on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, if you're interested in hearing me talk about games, which is mostly what I do there. I am going to be playing Private Henry Dunham, 1st North Carolina Cavalry from the great United States of America. And I am a swamp rat, which means probably going to mean I grew up, I might be a local boy. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. But I'm a swamp rat and some form of imposter. We'll see what happens with that. I'm curious how all that's going to rattle out. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, awesome. So to begin with, in the prologue, we are just going to read out in turn these background cards just to give us an idea of the flavor and some color. So we're going to go left to right again, starting with you, Gareth.
So, Potter's Raid. If this is read or heard of in some future time, let the record show that on July the 19th, 1863, Charles Shanks did his duty. I am a horse soldier and a volunteer. I am a Southerner by the grace of God, but I am no rebel. I fight for the Union. I was born here, and these rebels are my people, and I make war upon them under General Edward Potter, who is himself a horse soldier and anxious to burn down the Tar River Valley from one end to the other. We've been in the saddle 18 hours on our way to the pretty little town of Greenville, which we will leave in ruins.
You're muted, Kieran.
Okay, try again. My name is Lemuel Eager, and I ride with the 1st North Carolina Cavalry into Tarboro, a town I know well, where Union soldiers all right, treacherous rascals turned against their own, card sharps and reprobates, drunkards, deserters from the rebel cause, and maybe this one as well. We each have a very fine mount, and we know every swampy bend in these parts. Water the colour of tea, stinging insects. We can it the moccasins, and it was as stake infested a hellhole as ever was on earth. It takes a strange sort of man to settle in the moccasins. I can't say the word. Sorry about that. My brain's gone.
It is a strange and unruly word. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Let Professor Ross Tucker edify you. This war is being waged by accountants who know that the road to victory is paved with lost revenue. The Union invaded the South by sea to choke off her commerce like a fox blocking the henhouse door. So North Carolina's gem of a coast is firmly in federal hands. But not 100 miles inland, there's a railroad like a pumping artery feeding Robert Lee guns. Imperial staple cotton uniforms, bacon, all manner of things that make an army go. And smack on that road is bustling old Rocky Mount. You're muted, Jim.
All right, let's see how I got here. Before I volunteered, my mother said, Henry, don't listen to recruiters, for war will ruin you. And she was right. In the last few days, I've had a belly full of war, and there will be more. We're heading for Rocky Mountain Depot, our true objective, to hit the Rebs in the pocketbook. The depot possesses a splendid bridge across the Tar River that we are going to burn to flinders. We'll sever the Wilmington and Weldon Railroad, and we'll raise the devil generally. Those are General Potter's orders. Personally, I aim to steal as much bacon as I can carry.
Okay, awesome. So in the next part of the prologue, we are we're going to read those raid cards. Let me pull them out for us. Okay, and in the same fashion, during, or in a different fashion rather, during these, you're going to choose an action card from the 3 decks: Kill, Destroy, or Disgrace. And you're going to share a vignette of your character doing something that relates to the chosen action card suit, and be set in the location of the first raid, Greenville, and then we're all going to do that for the first raid, and then we're going to cycle through these raid cards. So I guess this is a moment where we get to see our characters in action, maybe find out a little bit about who we are in war. So we start with you again, Gareth.
Okay, so sorry, do I?
So you're going to read the raid card,
first,
yeah,
and then
and then you're going to take an action card, do a
into my
little
hand.
vignette, and then we're going to go in turn for action cards for this raid, and then we're going to go to the second raid. So
okay. So Greenville. We left the beautiful village of Greenville and its citizens about 3:00 p.m. to meditate. I don't know what that is. That
meditate, I think.
meditate.
You can blame my typo fingers.
Okay, it's a typo. Yeah, that put me off a bit. I was like, okay, to meditate on the vicissitudes of war and the penalties of treason. What's that? New York Cavalry?
New York, yeah,
record?
NY's New York, yeah.
July 24, 1863. The enemy gutted the place, taking $2,800 from Dr. Blow and $5,500 in banknotes from Alfred Forbes, destroyed the commissary and quartermaster stores, took the earrings and breastpins off the persons of ladies and the watches off of the gentlemen. Wilmington Journal, July 30, 1863.
So pick an action card and take it down into your hand, and then give us a quick vignette of Lieutenant Shanks doing something terrible along those lines.
Something terrible in the raid on Greenville, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got to think about him being a deserter as well and work that in. So this is all vignettes, so this is all in the past. So at some point in this, I'm trying to get an idea of why he's a deserter, right? Just trying to get my head around what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, you can introduce that at any point, like during the main acts, and maybe hint at it now, but there's no
They
need
may
to
not even
jump
be a
in.
deserter at the beginning of the
Yeah,
actual. Yeah,
I guess
we'll
you
see
get
how
to
it
play
goes.
that however you want, right? Yeah.
Cool. I'm just trying to figure out how it goes. Okay. So let's see. So right in this. Let's so is this, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused about what I'm, so this description is a description of from whose perspective now? This is like,
So the green card that you just read out, there's actually 2 sections to it. One is, I think, from like an official army report, and then the second one is from a local newspaper.
right.
So
okay.
maybe somewhere in between is the truth, right? Or maybe it's
But
all
it's-
true.
Okay, but it's saying about what we did.
Could be, yeah. It's up to you.
Okay,
Whether
right,
this
okay.
news report directly relates to you, right?
Well, yeah, but by we, the sort of like the union did, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So like
we, not me personally, maybe.
exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to get my head. It's like, I guess 'cause I'm going first cold into it. I'm kind of like trying to just get. It's quite yeah. I've got not a lot to kind of to go off, so I'm just yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll just take. So I need to take something like a disgrace and then do something disgraceful, or take a kill and kill somebody, or take a destroy and destroy something.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So let's just, I don't know. So let's say I'll take a kill and then I'll maybe I just kill someone to take something from them.
Do you want to add some flavor or give us a
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit of
sorry.
detail
I
on
really
that?
like because I don't know the
Or-
setting. I'm going in first.
Yeah,
The build up.
or
I
do you
feel like
want
it's
us
just cold. I'm
to-
just like not imagining anything.
Yeah.
So let's just like so Dr. Below then. Like I don't know. I just see the opportunity to take a lot of banknotes, perhaps. So I'm like kind of leading some people in to do that and sees that. So I'm in charge, but I've sort of seen the opportunity to sort of for personal gain, perhaps during the chaos. And so I'm kind of trying to lead a unit of soldiers into like our group, I guess, into rob the bank, and but it doesn't quite go to plan. Like I think like maybe. Maybe somebody in there doesn't want to hand it over, and so I just like, but I don't want to end up in this difficult position where I need to look like I'm still in control of the situation. I don't want to look weak, and I'm like sort of hesitating for a moment, but then I just kill the guy and take the money.
Cool. Yeah, works. Kieran, when I give us a vignette for Sergeant Eager.
Okay, I'm in Tarboro.
No,
Demolitions in Tarboro. Was it?
We're still in Greenville, right? We're each
I'm
taking
sorry,
an action card for Greenville. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought we were just going to do one in each. I will say I'm going to do. I'm a slight disgrace. And it's you say, just make sure I'm not repeating everything here. I just describe, and it just nothing to do on the back of the card, just a disgracey bait.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. I just imagine how about like I think it's enough as in this is kind of like people's been driven out of the town, people taking earrings and breast pins off the ladies and watches off the gentlemen. And it's a bit like we sort of gather around and say, we're done here, sir. And I go, no, we're not. Have you gone into the church yet? You leave there just people like just taking whatever we can with word from the church as well. Just don't tell anybody else in that way.
Awesome. I'm going to take a destroy card, and I think we see Corporal Ross Tucker. You know, after we've cleaned the quartermaster stores out of everything that will fit in our saddlebags, he just takes one last look in there and just chucks an oil lamp in there, and I think maybe into like a bale of cotton or something like that, and it just goes up, and he just watches it burn, and grumbles something to himself as he goes back to mount up.
All right. And I am going to choose, let me see. What I got going on.
You're muted again, Jim.
I'm going to choose destroy. And I think, you know what? Private Dunham and a couple of other privates let themselves into the offices of the local pro-Confederate newspaper. The kind of propaganda rag that is, been, talking trash about, publishing fire editorials about how anyone that, follows the Union cause from North Carolina is going to hell and stuff like that. And we just, just get in there and, we've got pickaxes and sledgehammers, and we just start going to town on the printing presses and their typewriters and smashing the desks and stuff, and just mayhem. We're not particularly interested in beating anybody up, like maybe whatever, shove them and stuff like that, and they can go running out. But this is not a thing where we want it to burn it to the ground. Like, we very specifically want them, to be able to come back and pick through the rubble of this and to show what happens if you, this is what we're going to do to your voice if you speak against us. And just, a light of glee in Private Dunham's eyes as he is just smashing things with them. Like I said, like a big, it's just like a sledge, right, that they use for working on the railroad. And he seems to really enjoy busting this stuff up.
Awesome. Okay, so that's Greenville, and we move on to Tarboro. Kieran.
Tarboro. Demolition in Tarboro was accomplished without much resistance. Major Cole's command did good work. A few inhabitants fired upon our men from windows, but that work stopped soon after a few summary examples were made. From Frank Moore, ex-government. Sorry, from Frank Moore. Ex-government, Clark's residence was shamefully abused. Mrs. Clark and her niece, Miss Toole, were compelled to take refuge in the kitchen. They ransacked the house from top to bottom. That's from the Raleigh State Journal, August 15th, 1863. And I go, do I go first?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go for the destroy card. And it's one of those, and the order I get is like, I think the shot you kind of get is a few of the, some of the residents are sort of shooting, and the summary examples moment. And it's this kind of, well, we've got enough dynamite here to take another house, and one of the houses go up, the one with somebody inside. And it's this kind of like, wherever you're shooting from, we're going to blow up as well. Is that, and that kind of is the thing that kind of silences it down. And it's my idea. Is that kind of like, I got given the problem, I solved it. I don't appear to be that bothered by it either.
I'm going to take a kill card. And I think we see Corporal kind of just standing at his sergeant's shoulder and taking out one of his rifle, his rifle. And so someone suspicious looks out a window where we've gotten fire from, and he just plugs that gap, and we hear a cry and a shout, and we don't really care that it was or was not a sharpshooter, but they've stopped shooting us now.
All right, I'm going to take disgrace. And I'm so sad that I don't get to use the prompt on this card, but but I will. You know what? Private Dunham finds the liquor cabinet in this house. No, I think the medicine cabinet. And there is laudanum, which Private Dunham has never tried before, has heard about the merits of it and its ability to, cure what ails you, to ease the aches and pains, and like takes enough of it that he is, I think, probably like, like they find him passed out in the, in the bathroom, with a half-empty laudanum bottle kind of by his empty hand, and they have to dunk his head in the cold water in the sink and stuff to wake him back up so that he gets his shit together enough that he can actually participate in the rest of the raid.
Cool. Is it
Yeah, back around to you,
me now?
Gareth.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like a disgraceful kill. So I'm kind of building this guy up to having killed a lot of people, I think, and that's like really like messed him up. Once that's going to be something to do with it, I think. So I think it's going to be like, okay. I'll take a kill, and he's become kind of frenzied in like sort of when we start meeting resistance and his unit's getting held up and maybe one of the soldiers gets shot next to him or whatever, and his reaction is to kind of get in a frenzy and kind of rush in, and he orders a lot of people in kind of ahead of everybody else. He's not really coordinated it properly, and he gets in there and he's too eager, and he actually shoots someone from the Union side in the confusion and the smoke inside the buildings, just because he's got too carried away, basically. And so you see him kind of through all the smoke, and you see it like it's tense, like you're with, the audience is with him, like, yeah, he's going to get his man, and he gets him. And then as it clears, you just see that there's the uniform, and you're like, oh no, he didn't. And he just kind of, I think he turns around and he just says to the NCO or whatever is next to him, he just says, all clear in there, like, got him, and like doesn't let anybody see what he's done.
Nice. So on we go to Rocky Met. The work of retribution commenced. All was burned and destroyed. King Cotton II was here immolated on the burning altar of the Union. 500 bales brought here for export were sacrificed by fire. Woodbury, 3rd New York Cavalry, July 24th, 1863. Nothing seems to escape them. Mr. Pope's home was ransacked by soldiers who took $20,000 in cash and bonds, his bed clothing, his children's clothing, and even their toothbrushes. A Charlotte Western Democrat, July 28th, 1863. Yeah, I think I'm going to get me a helping of disgrace for this. And I think, we see Corporal Ross Tucker leaving a ransacked home, kind of wearing the clothes of a gentleman, maybe a mixture of clothes, right? Maybe some fine silks too, I mean, hey, why not? This cannot be the line that we have said is too far. Jim, yeah.
And then it's me. All right. Okay, cool. So this is. I am going to take kill. And I think this is one of those things where like we are on the estate, the plantation, whatever. And, you know, the privates get the job of like, we've got to like go through all of the barns and stuff, you know, and like poke our bayonets into the hay bales and into the cotton, you know, into the bales of cotton and stuff like that to make sure nobody's hiding there. And, you know, it's that thing where like I come along a hay bale and I kind of, you know, like lazily poke my, you know, my rifle into it, and someone grabs the end of it and yanks me in there with them. And it's like, you know, it's just like one of the like one of the overseers for the farm, right? One of the white, you know, farm hands. And like we wrestle furiously, and like it's a thing where like, you know, he's got me down, he's choking me, you know, like choking me out, and I'm starting to see, you know, black. And I, you know, kind of reach down behind my, you know, behind my back, and from the small of my back up comes, you know, like my possum skinning knife that I carry around with me everywhere, right? You know, just like little, you know, not a big knife, but super sharp. I sharpen it every day. And just, you know, as he's choking me, I'm stabbing him in the face. And, you know, I stab him in the face enough times before I lose consciousness that, you know, he dies with a knife in his eye. And, you know, they come along and find me on the ground, gasping, blue, you know, bruises around my neck, and this guy dead with a knife sticking out of his eye. And, you know, that becomes like a, you know, and that story grows with every telling of it. Whenever I recount it to people, it gets more and more harrowing with each time I tell it, you know, when people ply me with drinks to tell them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really building an awful character here. It's gone really weird really quickly. So I've kind of got this disgrace thing. I think I can take a disgrace, and so what's this? So it's burning the band. I think it's something like there's a scene where Lieutenant Shanks is standing over what's the other side called? Like the Confederate soldiers, is it? Yeah. So standing over a wounded Confederate soldier, like he's just I think he's used I don't know what was an officer hat, like he has a sword maybe, so he's got a sword, and it's he's got his bloodied sword. You see that he's running through.
We're cavalry, so we'd have cavalry swords. Yeah,
but he's just wounded him, like the guy, you can tell it's like not too serious, like he could make it, you know, and he turns around, and there's like a private there, and he makes the private finish the man off, like, and he, like, you know, and he's like enjoying it. He's like, he wants to see the private, so he's like, finish him off, private, that's an order. And the guy's all like a bit shaky, doesn't want it. He's like quite a young guy, doesn't really want to do it, you know. But Lieutenant Shanks just kind of makes him do it, you know, just by strength of will, just, you know, do it, like just forces him to. So it's a really awful scene, and that's what I'm going with.
Fantastic. I'm going to go with kill. And the image I get is it's the Pope. It's kind of like the Pope, the big Pope home that's been ransacked, and with all the Union soldiers running out. On a close up with people actually, someone carrying the bombs out, and then somebody actually coming out doing their teeth. And you've got Egg eager, just urging them on to get to the horses. And like just as we're leaving, we see we just get a shot of Mr. Pope kind of angling in and sort of like clearly fuming. And I sort of catch his eye, and it's you've taken everything. Which what I get, we have, and I get up his pistol, and it's this beautiful ivory, expensive pistol. We took everything, not quite true, and shoot him dead. Now we have it's no better than you deserve. And you see there's something a bit more than just greed with Eager. There's a genuine anger here, and almost like a wrath of God nature to him as he stomps off. Clearly kind of pleased with the new pistol as well.
Okay, great. So that is Rocky Mount, and then we move on to Rocky Mount Depot.
All right, Rocky Mount Depot. The advance captured a train in Motino, due more particularly to the coolness of a Private White, who, jumping upon the train in motion 8 miles per hour, placed his revolver at the head of engineer and brought back the train. Rochester Union and Advertiser, July 27th, 1863. Quote, a military force sufficiently large to prevent a repetition of the destruction is now at hand on the road, but unfortunately, they are just in time to be too late. Close quote. Petersburg Express, July 24th, 1863. I think I go first, right? Is what that means?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So this is the depot, huh? Take destroy, I think. And and kind of in an echo of the incident at the newspaper, Private Dunham and the couple of other privates that he busted up that place with find their way to the fine dining car of this train, and are kind of when they come on, presumably the train has passengers and stuff like that. They're kind of shuffling everybody out, and again, Private Dunham doesn't seem as interested in looting as everyone else does. But there's that scene of where he's there with his friends, and they're just kind of looking at each other, smirking, and Private Dunham just takes his rifle and just kind of tinks the bayonet against like a champagne flute or something like that on one of the tables, and just edges it, and it falls and shatters on the floor. And somebody else laughs and does the same thing. And then kind of one by one, then somebody takes their rifle butt and knocks a bottle off of the bar. And then pretty soon it's just mayhem, just smashing tables and just no respect for their equipment, just using their rifles as clubs, walking along the bar, sweeping an arm, knocking all of the bottles off so that they smash. And the whole place is just a reeking, because of all the and they wasted all the liquor because it was so much fun to destroy the bottles. Maybe they took a swig or two out of some, whatever broken bottles or something like that. But it's just mayhem, just this massive display of broken glass and shattered tables and shredded linens and all that kind of stuff by the time they're done with that dining car.
Not struck by inspiration this time. I'm just having a think. So, train. I guess again, it's going to be a disgrace, and so Lieutenant Shanks is leading a section, or whatever you call a bunch of riflemen in this era, in this army, to clear out a train carriage that's, I think it's got those little compartments in separate rooms, and it's where all the wealthiest people, so it's in the first class section of the train, and which he's kind of beelined for in order to relieve them of all of their valuables, and so he's ordering this section to go and clear out all the different cabins inside there. But one of the soldiers comes out, kind of hasn't really got much to show for it, and he feels like he's not really put the boot in enough or turned the screws enough to get the loot out of the people in there, and so he will see him grab this soldier and kind of throw him back in there, and insist that he he's like check all the stuff, like pat them down, they're hiding stuff, where's the money, and he gets rough with them, and he makes this soldier help him, and they kind of work these people over, right, and make sure they get all of the loot off of them, all their valuables. I kind of think it's like we don't want to see all the details of it, but it's like the camera will just kind of slide away, and you just hear the commotion and sort of screams and things inside the carriage. That's kind of where it fades out.
Right. I'm going to go for disgrace, actually. And the image I've got is actually after all of this. It's not like the heat of the battle. It's like we've captured the depot. And it's two of my sort of privates beneath me. It's like, where's the sergeant? And it's, he's just up there. So I'm on top of one of the cars, just looking out over the thing, getting very, I managed to get some of the drink that wasn't destroyed by Dunham's men. And I am completely, utterly blotted. I'm barely out of there. I'm barely present. And it's this kind of just me there, just shirking the duties. Like the soldiers just kind of doing their own thing. And it's just absolutely a very slow level of intention as I look over the burning bits of the depot and just kind of run the various stuff I've stolen through my fingers. And there's a sort of like a sullen depression to him, might be a way of putting it. In the rage we've seen him before, this is something else. He's kind of blitzed himself out of existence as much as we've blitzed this town. And that's that.
I think I'm going to take destroy. I think we see Ross Tucker maybe a little bit tipsy in the telegraph office, sending errant messages to God knows where. And in one, he is defaming General D.H. Hale, saying that he has surrendered his honor, at some location down the road. Cursing his name till someone tears down a telegraph pole at the other end of town and cuts him off. Okay, so that is our prologue, right? We've each taken an action card for each of those 4 raids. Okay, so that is the end of the prologue. I think we should have a break now. Seems like a good place to cut. I have 18 minutes past, so we say half past. It's good. Okay, cool. So we'll see you back then.
So I read out the escape card, right?
Yeah. So read the first escape card and then set yourself a scene.
Okay. Abandoned. We have been abandoned. What cruel irony that our own forces will shoot us as deserters if we show our faces just as quickly as the rebels will hang us from any convenient tree. We must rely on one another now, and I believe we have cause to hope. We know the country. We may even know parties sympathetic to our cause. If we return to Potter in New Bern under our own power, no one could accuse us of anything but misfortune. So east we go, together, heads held high, with 100 miles of rebels stirred like hornets between us and salvation. Okay, good, yeah.
That's very optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. So we've been abandoned. I guess we could start off with being abandoned. I'm not sure why that will have happened. It feels like that would be an obvious first scene, something to do with the abandonment. So I guess we've got too far away from, we've literally been abandoned. So it's like I feel like we've got too far away from the main army, and then they've had to fall back because maybe they're getting their asses kicked or something, and they're not going to wait for us, and so that's how we've become cut off, something like that. Okay, so maybe it's so based on what's happened in the vignettes, I feel like Lieutenant Shanks is likely to have got a bit carried away, maybe, and so it's partially his fault that everybody is cut off, right? So that's going to lead to some ugly recriminations from the the rest of his unit. So it could be something like that, a kind of challenge of leadership right off the bat, maybe. Might make a good opening scene. I guess I've got to build towards doing one of these cards at some point in the scene, but I don't decide yet. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. You can have an idea of where you want to go, or we can just come across it as it jumps out at us. But yeah, we got to incorporate one of these three for you, or you have to incorporate one of these three for you.
Okay, so where do we think we are? Maybe we're. So I think we're maybe out in the countryside somewhere, like we're outside of it, like we were coming around a major settlement or something, but we're actually out in the wilderness in this scene.
Do you mind if I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go for it, please. Yeah.
So if you're like stuck for where a scene might be happening, look at the cards that you've got in your hand.
Oh, and try and make
each of them has a location on it. And you can use that as a prompt to kind of get you going. That's like when I played, I never made anything up. I just looked at the cards I had in front of me and just went with that.
Okay,
and because those are all actual place names of locations in North Carolina and environs. So
yeah, I noticed that. So they all mention places, but like I guess it doesn't matter about the geography of that because I have no idea where any of this stuff is.
No.
The geography police will not be watching this YouTube video.
Yeah. I can imagine we just got very lost. That's the thing.
Just going around and around in circles. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. What are my cards? That's a good point. I should look at them.
Because that's how you get the points is by bringing those in. So yeah.
So it's a really weird one. Okay. Yeah. And okay, right. So there's one here that is the Pockeson forest burning out of control. So I feel like we could use that as to sort of start the scene off. That it's after the battle and this forest is burning, and that's kind of part of why we're cut off. We're on the wrong side of this forest fire, smoke everywhere. We don't really know where we're going. Maybe we're even though we're from the place, we don't really know where we are exactly. It's confused. We're probably like just running from being pursued by a fire, basically. What do you want me to do with this card? Did you say I had to click it out or drag it out? Or
so yeah, if you're going to introduce it for those points, like Jim says, I would click it to flip it over and then just put it on the table.
Okay, I see. You can flip it in
so
your
that
hand,
you're playing the card, but we don't know how many points it's worth. Right?
Got it. Right. Okay.
So yeah, just put it below your counter. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's the start of the scene then. So there's smoke in the air. This forest fire is we're hurrying to kind of almost stay ahead of it, like it's moving quite quickly. I think it's been created by the conflict in some way. We don't really know how. We don't really know where we are. We don't know where the rest of the army is, and it's kind of like the lieutenant's fault or the lieutenant's fault that we're here, kind of to some extent. It could be said that. Okay.
So I think you see Corporal Ross Tucker just sitting down, trying to get a drink of water from a bucket, but there's not much left, and it's he is covered in soot. He's maybe being too close to the fire line, and is trying to get his bearings. And he's cursing under his breath at whatever idiot decided to open fire in the middle of July, like the high summer. This gorse is gonna go aflame with a side glance.
Are you playing a card or?
No, I'm just sitting down being
Okay, so we don't necessarily play a card with our narration, or
you don't have to play any card at all unless you want to put some points on the board. So yeah, we're I guess we're role playing now. We're not.
It's just kind of free role play.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay, all right.
While we're asking questions, just to make sure I understand as well, you can use any element of the card to play the card. So I could use the location, I could use the prompt, I could even use the disgrace or destroy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably want to. I think the game suggests that you kind of lean on the prompt heavily, right, to get the points. But you know.
Okay, yeah. As in the prompt's the most important part.
Yeah.
That's great. So it's less. That's good. That actually makes it much cleaner for me. Great.
So okay, so maybe Lieutenant Shanks is like runs up and he's pulling on what's his name? Ross Tucker. It's double barrel, isn't it? On the corporal's shoulder, and he's like, "Come on, we got to hurry. We've got to keep moving." And he's like pressing everyone on, like a bit of a taskmaster, you know.
We got to water the horses first, Lieutenant. Else we'll not be getting anywhere quick.
I think the lieutenant looks around at the faces of the other men to sort of gauge the mood briefly, and the fire is kind of reflected in his eyes as he does it.
I mean, you know, sir, I don't know that we need to water our horses. We can just, you know, I mean, there's farms through those woods right there. We can just go get some fresh ones.
Yeah, it's
I
like
would say adding to the sort of Private Henry's point. It's like at this point in all the fire and the chaos, you got the image of Lemuel, a horse on top of him. His horse, it's been gut shot. It's got the company L brand on. Its eyes are rolling. It's got foaming in its mouth in that way. And I'm not in a much better space. I've obviously got a horse lying on top of me, and this is kind of the. I mean, you wish it could be phlegmatic to just say, "I think I need a horse too," but he's really just screaming, "Get the F," a variety of like swear words, this thing off me. I'll tell you know, we're not going anywhere without more horses, sir.
Yeah. He's like, he looks at the rest of the band. He's like, "Get the sergeant on his feet. Come on!" Like, basically, and he pitches in as well. We're going to get this horse off of the sergeant, right? Like, I assume someone's going to.
I think I jump on top of this. I am, you know, there's a good way of getting a horse off a man, but I'm not taking that option. I am dragging Eager out. You know, he doesn't need that foothold. I'm just dragging him out, and I am cursing in his ear as I do so, because whatever about lieutenants, we know the sergeant runs the show, and if the lieutenant is making mistakes, it's the sergeant's fucking problem.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just say, Ross Tucker. You know, thanks for that. It's just a wipe. You know, wiping. I'm still hungover. That's probably the other shot. As in, I probably should have gone into battle like this.
And the lieutenant's like, "Sergeant, get the men on their feet. We're gonna go to that farm, get some horses."
Affirmative, sir. How many men we got here? I say to Ross Tucker.
You don't need all your fingers, sir.
Yes.
Maybe we could like cut over to getting to the farm to like allow me to, I don't know, disgrace or destroy or kill something. I don't know.
The private mutters under his breath, 3 chiefs and only 1 Indian. And I think like when we're going through the woods, and like I am leading you through there because I'm like from this backcountry, right? there's that thing where like, I like come around a tree and there's that, a crack and a plume of smoke from up ahead, and then like the tree next to me explodes and I duck down behind it, and someone hollers some string of like barely intelligible curses at us. And I say, son of a bitch, Cyrus Van Horn, is that you? You draft dodging yellow bellied piece of shit? Oh, this is gonna be fun. I didn't think you'd still be alive. I thought you'd be halfway to the Oklahoma Territory by now. We are gonna enjoy this. Permission to, I don't know, like burn this whole fucking place down, sir.
Do what you want. Just don't. Just as long as I get my horses.
And I say, Sergeant, we got any of that dynamite left? That'll flush him out real quick.
He nods. We sort of hear, what's the story of this guy? Tell me how badly he deserves to die. I seem kind of hungry for it.
Oh, he's a piece of.
The lieutenant says, "We all deserve to die, son."
He's a piece of shit, sir. He paid off the local. He paid off the draft office and limped around like he had a lame foot. But according to the whorehouse, he can move along just fine when he wants to.
So I know the pretty good cause of it. The corruption endemic in this state has a simple cure, and I pass you the gunpowder. I pass you the dynamite.
And I, and I take a match and I strike it on my bayonet, and I say, "Hey, Cyrus, come get me, you yellow-bellied son of a bitch!" And I light the dynamite, and I just kind of start walking into the swamp, like just like with it behind my back, And when he takes that shot, when I see that plume of white come up, I say, "Happy birthday!" And I throw I just throw the dynamite at wherever he is. And there's probably like just some tremendous explosion, dirty swamp water goes sluicing up. We're all covered in it in like bits of swamp water and exploded Cyrus. And I'm just standing there. Oh, did you see that? Sir, did you see that? I've never seen anybody get direct hit like that. Holy shit. Oh, Cyrus. And I'm like, there's like bits of him on me. And I'm like holding up my arm where like some hunk of like hair is or something. And I'm yelling at it like I'm yelling at him. And I say, "Coast is clear, sir." And then start walking, through the woods towards the farm there.
We live in a world of progress, gentlemen.
So I guess we get to the barn, and it's gonna be some kind of complication here. I've got to do an action, right? I've got to work that in somehow. It's like mandatory. So I'm just trying to think how I can make that happen. So clearly, like some people don't want to part with their horses, right? It's got to be something like that. So maybe they can see the fire coming, and the people who like live in this farm are like trying to get whatever they can valuables onto their horses to get out. So they're loading these horses up for us. So when we get there, and so so it's like a I guess it's like a vulnerable family, right? That'll make it better. So then the lieutenant just orders his men to take the horses, like doesn't just take everything they've got, take the horses, we're out of here. Which I guess would be the disgraceful action, so I'm gonna go for that.
How about I shoot take the horses we can and just shoot the rest. Actually, no, we can take all the horses. That's how horses work. Sorry, I forgot. It's not like cars.
Yeah. Yeah, this one won't turn over. I can't. Yeah, so it's like.
And I would like to X-card any more graphic.
Yeah.
Stuff about mistreating the horses. So yeah. I don't want to get into too much detail on it. But
so
yeah,
I mean, well, I was going to say we could end the scene there, but unless anyone has anything else they want to.
That seems like a good place
Yeah,
to end it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Karen, your scene for Eager.
Cool. So just to make sure I understand this, I'm building towards drawing a card.
Yeah. So
Right.
whenever you introduce one of those three elements, you take a new card.
Okay, cool.
But you don't have to put that card on the table, right?
No, you
use a
can
card
keep
from your
that. You
hand.
can keep
Yeah,
that in your
okay.
hand for later. I mean, you don't have to play any card in any scene.
Okay.
You don't want to.
And I can draw the card.
Sorry, go ahead, Kieran.
So as long as I know what card I'm actually going for, I can draw it any time I like.
Yeah. Whenever the element is introduced. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna say like we've been riding for a while. It's a night. The night's long. The horses are good horses, and that's probably the thing that I think most throws us, as in they're incredibly fresh. Like we've been on the way our mission's been going for a while, so our horses are we're tired. These are fresh, and they're their slightly peppy nature kind of gets to us. Meanwhile, I'm a state. That's the thing people know. So, I'm not sure if I've broken any ribs, or maybe I've picked up some kind of infection, or this hangover still won't fucking shift. But as we approach the Wesley Church crossroads, as we're kind of passing through this town at night, I suddenly start freaking out. I just start speaking like I'm a visionary, as this element of like it's like there, and the church, it sees us. I start speaking. Judgment is here. I'm kind of grabbing Ross Tucker and sort of trying to shake his shoulder. You see it too, can't you?
You drunk? Did you get into that laudanum?
I haven't touched anything of the sort. I'm slightly wheezy here. I think it's quite hard to breathe. It's like a fire. I hope that it's the church, the holy bush. The Lord sees what we have done to Isaac.
The Lord is looking elsewhere.
Sir,
if he's even awake.
Sir, we maybe ought to get that boot off of him where that horse fell on him. I suspect his foot is not going to look right.
You take it off, you'll never get it back on. Best way to leave that boot on till he dies.
All right. Well, he's talking like he's got bad blood, sir.
He's got bad blood, all right.
No. That thing's probably gone septic. We don't get him off him and get that drained. Nothing else is gonna start stinking up the place, sir, even more than he already is. You know what? I know someone that can help. We should go see her.
You gotta squeeze out here, Henry.
No, nothing like that, sir. Just, someone who the local boys know about. And sometimes the local girls go to her too.
I mean, you gotta convince the lieutenant, right? Or just take us in that direction anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't know his ass from his elbow. He'll follow wherever I lead. So, but Sergeant Eager, he's gonna start raving, and if he's hollering like this and we need to hide from somebody, I ain't gonna be the one put a bullet in his head.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I don't even notice this conversation. I'm still there sitting and staring at the church back and forth with these exchanges going on. And I'm just whispering judgment, judgment. Before the end, judgment will come in. He knows what I've done.
I turn back to the lieutenant and with a little smirk, I say, "Left up here, sir."
Very good.
And I lead us to a little like a, kind of like just on the edge of the swamp, there's like a little shack. And like chained to a stake in the middle of the front yard is a dog that is obviously rabid. I stand like, and there's like that thing where like the grass is all like kind of destroyed where it's been running around in a circle, barking and, frothing at the mouth and stuff like this and everything. And I stand at the edge of the circle and I whistle. And, the door kind of opens a crack. And I say, got somebody hurt? We're going to pay. Don't want no trouble. Just need some help. And the door opens and a like tiny, like like a woman who's like 3 feet tall, clearly, like has like dwarfism, wearing a coonskin cap, right? She says, she hollers at us to show her, she kind of looks us over and she looks at the lieutenant and she says, show me your money or whatever else you got.
Okay, so we're not paying a goddamn thing.
And the private's like, sir, no, she's not gonna, sir, you don't want to fuck with that dog, sir. She won't help you. She can help. This is, sir, please. Sergeant Eager's gonna he's gonna die soon, and it's not gonna be pleasant if we don't get her help. I mean, he's got to trust me on this one, sir.
All right, it's coming out of your share though, private.
And I sigh, and I reach down into my uniform, and like I kind of reach around behind my neck, and I do a little thing, and I pull out, kind of like tick 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 like this, like a gold chain with a little ivory locket on it that I was wearing around my neck, clearly under my uniform, kind of implying that I may have more than one of those kind of on underneath. And I pull it and I hold it out and I toss it to her. She goes back in the house. She comes back out, and she like kind of throws some food to the dog, who jumps on it, and then walks past the dog and proceeds to treat Sergeant Eager. Like she just like cuts the boot right off his foot and everything, kind of whistles at like she's impressed at how disgusting that foot looks, and sets to it, gives him some leather to bite on, and sets to it working on his foot. And I think that there's a and the door cracks open a little more, and we can see a quite attractive young woman, wearing just like basically like a night shift or something like that, just kind of one eye staring at us through the door, watching the proceedings, wondering what's going to happen.
I think the Lemma.
And I'm gonna pull a disgrace card for that.
You're gonna pull a card. So you get to pull a card when you're setting the scene, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay. But I can play one.
You can play a card. Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm gonna. Oh, I think I screwed up and put the wrong card. There we go. All right. Do that. I'm gonna put that one back. that I didn't look at. All right, there we go. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Kieran, do you want to?
Yeah. I was just trying to
Yeah.
like, it's like actually, I've been fixed up, and I'm still kind of delirious. So I think I'm actually have a moment of utter panic. It's an angel. It's an angel, and I draw and shoot because I'm delirious. I'm going to take the kill card for that. But it wasn't deliberate. I'd imagine it like somebody hopefully wrestles the fucking gun off me instantly in this way. Like, and I'm sort of still sort of screaming about angels, and it's kind of like, is this the bad blood now because she's cleared me up, or is this something else a bit more? A level of crackness is happening here with him.
Oh, I think you get one shot off before I like rifle butt to the head.
That's good. Yeah. And I'm out.
And like I do that, and my eyes go wide, and I like look at the corporal and the lieutenant, like, holy shit, are you gonna shoot me now?
No, you get a nod from me, as in like I was 1 second behind you, Mightn't have been that end of the rifle though, but we did fine.
While you're unconscious, people remember I've got a large amount of money on me. So if anyone wants to pay reparations, or
you might like
to
think that, but
I believe it's the bonds, which that £20,000 worth of bonds, which was mentioned earlier from Mr. Pope's house, and also my fine pistol, which I just shot it with, I guess.
Yeah, is that a wrap or yeah? Okay.
I think establish what you've nabbed from me in the future would be fun. I think that the rapper's feet has been ridden off of me unconscious, and obviously the woman screaming at us. That's the kind of the healing lady.
So I think I will set a scene. I think maybe it's we're miles away. We've gotten kind of out of the neighborhood. It's nighttime, and we're kind of around a very small fire. Enough to put a pot of coffee on, but not something that will create a lot of light or smoke. We're trying to stay under the radar, and I think I'm sitting beside Sergeant Eager, looking at that, foot, maybe wrapped up in bandages or whatever, and I think maybe you'd saved a bottle of whiskey, which I am demolishing right now, and I am talking to you even though you're unconscious, but you may wake up right at the wrong moment, and I am kind of lambasting you with what you had us do back at Charleville. And I'm not sure if the others are within earshot or come up behind me, but I guess you can overhear as much as you deem fit. And I think though, when you do, you will maybe notice me, struggling with the idea that, within an arm's reach or a foot's reach, I could inflict some serious pain on Sergeant Eager. And then I say, why did we have to kill those folk? They had surrendered. You didn't want to do the paperwork, Eager. You cold-hearted son of a bitch. But we just have to murder them because you're the sergeant and you get to make the call.
I think it's like I'm still not conscious completely, and it's this kind of like, but it sounds like I'm actually deliriously talking a little, as in that kind of, and the bit you can just about guess in this kind of tiny whispers. They deserved it. Everyone in this godforsaken state deserves it.
Everyone who grew up in this state deserves it. Is that it, Eager? Is that what I heard you say? And I think then we kind of see my boot, my riding boot kind of arrive on your shin and apply a little bit of pressure.
And then I get up and scream as I sit up bolt upright, and I've got a knife to your throat. And it's that kind of like, oh yeah, he's a veteran. He's been around the block, and he's been, he's grown these sideburns over many years of killing, in that kind of way. And he's drawn a little bit of blood before he realizes who it is. Where are we? We're
at camp. You couldn't get too far with your damned leg.
And it slipped back and just sort of looked down at the mess that's made of me. We're saying good. Well, how's the lieutenant bearing her?
I think at this point, the lieutenant it comes over and says, "Quiet. There's people out there."
Yes, sir.
And like he means like literally right there. Like there's some people, and you hear like some sort of people moving through the underbrush or whatever. I'm just basically trying to get a card out. So.
I'm not quite sure what card I should be taking, disgrace or kill for that. Not sure what makes most sense. I mean, I didn't kill anyone in the scene. I'm just referring to it.
Yeah.
So maybe disgrace.
Maybe disgrace.
Yeah. You're torturing someone under your command. Feels pretty disgraceful to me.
Yeah.
And you just to make sure I understand the not mechanics there, but you're using the person to your left has done something that scarred you forever.
Yes, yeah. So I played that card out, my character card, because you've scarred me forever. Damn it.
I get it.
Okay.
So what's the distinction? So sorry, just to step out of character for a moment. On the sheet, it has click when flipped and click when used.
Yeah, that when I did this initially, I was going to have all the cards you played in the character keeper, and I was
Got it. Okay.
So that is a remnant.
So we should ignore.
So
that.
we can ignore that. Yeah.
When we do that, got it. Okay. All right.
So
yeah, I was trying to kind of introduce another element.
Oh yeah,
there,
go ahead.
But I feel like the scene has naturally ended, so I don't know. That's fine. Let's just keep.
Well, unless Shanks needs to, exhibit some leadership or whatever it is, whatever seems most appropriate to take control.
So there's some people out there, and there's more of them than us, and so we maybe are now the prey rather than the hunter. Is kind of where I was going with it, but yeah. So he's like, quiet, there's people out there, and you kind of hear a snap of a branch, and so everyone's kind of aware. And so he's like, kill the fire.
Yeah, and I I immediately douse it. I dump a bucket of water on it. Cover it to hopefully it won't smoke too much.
And I'm like, if these assholes think they're going to get the drop on us, they're going to be mistaken. We're going to get the drop on them. And he's like, quick into the this way, and he's trying to like basically lead everyone on a crazy counter-attack thing, which how does everyone react to that? Do they obey him?
I kind of drop back, and as everyone, and kind of like when it's clear that there's like some, you've kind of gotten on ahead. I like slip off to the side, and I'm gonna kind of go around and go through the woods and flank them, because you guys are making so much fucking noise that there's no way that they're not gonna find you. So
Yeah, riding with this foot is no fun at all. I don't forget
Me
who's
coming
seen.
around the side, yeah.
I mean,
Who's
you're left by yourself.
Yeah, I kind of imagine we just leave you behind.
Yeah, I was about to say who actually had the laudanum earlier, in the earlier scene.
I think that was Dunham, wasn't it, Jim?
What's that?
Your character had the laudanum.
Yeah, just
Yes,
checking
yeah.
for my own reference in there.
Yep.
If your bag's here, I might be crawling towards your bag if you're riding to about flank. Sorry, crawling towards the. I'm turning death crawl and very literal death crawl here in terms of if there's any. I'm crawling over to the bags and I'm going to try to find something that can take the edge of this pain some more. I'll make do with the whiskey that Isaac was drinking though.
Yeah. Is that a good place to stop? And then I think,
sure.
Jim, you might want to. I mean, you could either have this scene be you off in the wild by yourself, or we could fast forward, whatever you prefer.
Oh, I think I'm fine with fast forwarding, and then we can talk about what happened, or how that went right or wrong, or whatever sort of disaster that turned out to be. I'm cool with that.
Cool. Yeah.
So now I'm just framing a scene for where we're at here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think yeah, you know what? I want this to be like this is the Fury Road scene where like you're all going off and I like just kind of duck off around the side and you're fleeing from whatever this is, or maybe you find a spot to, I guess, like, would the lieutenant find a defensible spot and hold up, like, ready to get whoever's
Yeah, I think he wants to try and ambush the ambushers.
Okay. All right. There's that scene where like you're waiting and there's a rustling in the grass, whatever. Someone appears out of the woods and someone takes a shot that just misses them. And it's Private Dunham says, "What the fuck? It's me. And like, I throw my hands up and I'm just like covered in blood, right? Just like arterial spray across my face and stuff like this. And for a second, there's that scene where like, oh my God, what happened to you? And then it's like, oh, it's not his blood, right? And I have dropped like a satchel at my feet. And I say, I got one of them and took him down, and his screaming brought the others, and so they're gonna be occupied for a little while. And I point down, and the satchel is I did get something though, and the satchel is filled with boxes of cigars. And I said, I don't know if that son of a bitch was a traveling merchant or a fugitive hunter or what, but he was not ready for me to come up on him. But I'm gonna need a new uniform, sir, or at the very least, a change of clothes.
So what do I look like? A general store?
I think Ross Tucker reaches into his saddlebags when we get back, and he takes out that gentleman's coat that we saw him take out of that mansion a while back.
Yeah, and I pause, and I say, well, Corporal Tucker, I don't know, Sir, I do not know how to tie a tie.
That's okay. I'll do that for you. And I think it'll be one of those, like, it's not like he's ever really dressed anyone before, so he's not doing it like a butler or anything. So like he steps behind you and does it that way because that's how he remembers how to tie his cravat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know how awkward Dunham is in this situation.
It's incredibly awkward. And Dunham like has the thing where like one arm across and one on his crotch, and shirt first, then pants and stuff like this and everything. And basically like Dunham insists on like dressing first. He like goes off behind some trees, strips off his bloody clothes, puts the suit on and everything. And I think like, aside from like a splash of blood across his jaw, right? It's this thing where it's this like miracle transformation, right? He steps out from behind and, like somehow like in a way that only happens in a movie, right? The cut is perfect and fits him just right and everything, but the collar is loose. He kind of looks down and he's like, it's kind of tight, sir. Am I doing this right?
Yeah, just don't bend over real quick, or you'll have a draft.
Oh, well, trust me, sir, where I come from, not bending over real quick is just good practice in general.
Well, when the Reb starts shooting at us, you just decide whether your life or your dignity is worth more.
And I walk up to him and I kind of like hold the ends of the tie out. Do you want to tell me how this works, or how should we?
Yeah, and then I think we like cut to him going around behind you and
Okay,
putting it on.
All right. What's it like living in Washington, D.C., sir? I say. I can't imagine. It must be like living in with all those, it must be like living in Rome or Paris.
I mean, there's still shit on the streets,
There's going to be shit on the streets everywhere, sir, but you look up, you see those, I don't even know, those monuments.
Just as rotten as it is down here, I'd say.
That ain't
it's
possible,
just like
sir. That ain't possible, sir. Ain't none as rotten as this shithole here.
Well, you look mighty fine now, Dunham, don't you? But are you any different on the inside?
And I like blush furiously. And I say, I don't know, sir. I suppose not. This war has been quite an education, but I am trying to be, sir. I think I'm gonna play my rise above my past and prove myself worthy of respect card here. I think. Oh, actually, I should have just played it face down and not said what's going on. But yeah, so I never want to come back here, sir. This war is over. I'm gonna take my pension and I'm gonna live in Washington, sir. Maybe even New York City.
Okay, so is that a wrap on the scene? Okay.
Kind of sounds like it, yeah.
So that is our act. So we flip over all our cards. If you want to see the score on your character card, you'll have to click the box beside it in your character keeper. And we see what our totals are. Jim, you've gone all in, right? You've got a total of...
Yeah, I did, yeah. I played a bunch of...
8 and whatever.
One of the Yeah, one of the things about this is that, like, if you shoot your wad early, you might live through the first couple, but then you'll not have much for later
Yeah,
on. So it's
yeah.
all kind of a balancing act. So yeah. So I've got. And how do we see how many points the actual character card is worth?
Oh yeah, if you check the box on the character keeper, just to the left of it.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you should see the number just to the right of it. So if you played it, you get to see.
Oh, I see. There we
yeah,
go. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yikes.
So yeah. So I've got a total of 7. Jim, I think you got 12, do you?
Yeah, 7 and 5. Yeah. I was just sorry, like the card, a whore, a midget, a chained up hydrophobic hound is just such a great prompt. There was
like, how do I work these in? And yet you do.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. That's like the most Jason Morningstar card deck, I think. Yeah.
So I got 5, I think. I got 3 for my name card.
I also have 5.
Yeah, I don't know what we do in a tie.
It's going to be to do with rank, isn't it?
Everybody dies.
In the event of a tie for lowest total, the highest rank character dies.
I knew it.
So, so we can just dump all of these used cards up to the top. Just put them in a pile. Okay. Two. Okay. Okay. So now, as the dying character, you create an additional scene detailing your character's demise. You can have it happen ignominiously and out of view, or however you want. You then become a swamp ghost. You keep any unused action cards in your hand to wreak vengeance upon us. And then we cut to Act 2. So Garth, do you have an idea, or how do you want to play it?
Okay, so we just fought off those guys, and maybe just like maybe he just wants blood, so he just goes. He just like, I think at this point he's like he enjoys killing now. He's like, he started off not wanting to do it, right, and being kind of peer pressured into it, and now it's just like he's just fully embraced it. And so he goes out into the woods by himself looking for the others, and like they get the drop on him, so he's like one of them. I think, let's see, one of them, I think he just hears a click, and then someone just like shoots him in the back. He doesn't even see it coming. It's just like, he just falls in a puddle, and it's like a really, really ignominious end. It's like all he really deserves.
Oh, does he actually drown instead of?
Yeah, that could be it. Like,
dying from the gunshot. Yeah,
he's in the puddle and there's bubbles coming up, and he's breathing in mud and everything, and then someone just kicks him over on his back. You just see him there. It's just like, it's like, I don't know, someone adds 1 to their tally or something. They're like, that's, how many is that now? 20, 21, or whatever. They're just like going through his pockets, taking anything of value.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's a good place for a break. We say back at past. Yeah.
Gone to ground. Between us and New Bern lies a scant 30 miles as the crow flies. The Pocketons. Men have sunk in these peat bogs and never been seen again. Off the road, horses worse than useless. The people who make these swamps their home are not kind. We need to get to New Bern before we're logged in as deserters. To do that, we're left in an unenviable choice: through the thicket, every horror fecund nature, or along the plank roads, through vengeance-stoked mobs and our own federals keen to kill Southerners. And I think the sort of scene is like, we lost, our horses are a mess, and I basically got to limp. Like, you know, I know I'm not going to get through the peat bogs, but I kind of know that I need. I know I'm in charge now. And it says, Dunham, help me along here. I know where to go. God damn me. And I start limping, and I sort of up ahead is a Dortridge farm. They've been living in these swamps as long as there's been this country. You know, they have people. Yeah, they have people who know the way better than I do. You should. I'm sort of a bit ashamed here and pause. You should know this. Dortridge was my mum's name. This is my mum's family farm, and they're not going to be too pleased that I come in limping. I think we'll probably have to go. They'll be shooting there before we're done. And it's also as we head down there, it's like, and the farm's ahead of us. So it's just like farms, you know, farms are very glorified word for this thing, which is built into the swamps, and kind of like whatever it can. It's mainly like whatever livestock they can get, which is scant and skinny, and where I mean, you know, that's the kind of the image I've got here, as in it's kind of like it's sort of almost built into this area. Just I literally me clearing not knowing the terrain that well, but that's the kind of vibe I've got. And I say, get your weapons out, people. I don't know what's going to be happening here. They might be expecting us. The Doubtbridge are always the kind of the bad side of the family. You can tell, you know, they're traitors too.
Why are we bothering?
Hmm?
Why are we bothering? Why do we take the risk? Let's just keep going.
Do you know the way through here?
You want to join up with some rebs who'll, you've admitted yourself, not be happy to see it.
Yeah. The middle child is weak. We can easily kind of absolutely kind of take them and guide us through the swamps as best in a way which is safer than they're going to know ourselves. Just a little bit of kidnapping. This ain't nothing we've done before. This ain't nothing we've not done before.
So we're not going to walk up. We're just going to spy for your brother and take him.
Yeah. Or go in guns blazing. And if we can save some time. How you feeling? I've got to admit, my head's not entirely right now, so I'm willing to take advice. You've got to understand, you know, I'm NCO. I'm going to run this place slightly differently.
And I've got the thing where like my head is on a swivel looking between the two of you as you're going back and forth. I'm not saying anything right now.
And I think you get a sense that like Ross Tucker is on the verge of kind of coming up with a plan, and then he looks at Dunham and looks at, you know, the civilian garb he's still wearing. Henry, we could do some kind of ruse, right? Draw him out.
I suppose so, sir. Well, I mean, what do I say?
You don't say nothing. You just, you know, I don't know. You holler for help. Like we wait till we spot the useless brother.
Yeah. All right. I can do that, I think. All right. Yes, sir. I can do that, sir.
And I wonder, you know, around the family farm, right? Is there like, you said it's a pretty mean, lowbrow place. I wonder if there's, you know, signs of something, you know, untoward, like hanging hoodoo dolls or burnt papers, some kind of, you know, swamp magic going on here. maybe something that gives us a bit of a fright as we, go through the undergrowth, through the brush to get a good view of the farm. And
there's this gasp. It's like, oh yeah, this side of the family was never quite strictly Protestant.
Never quite strictly Christian.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we come up to the edge of the property and wait a while until your brother appears.
Yeah, and as soon as he appears, I like stagger out of the swamp, waving my arms at him, saying, "Oh, sir, Mister. Oh, did you tell me what his name was?"
I'm trying to think good period names. We've already got an Isaac. Cain.
Right. What's that?
Let's go Cain.
All right.
Suitably biblical.
Mr. Cain, sir. Oh, thank goodness you're home. My wife is with child, and she is stuck in the bog, sir. And I believe that we're being pursued by some Union deserters, and sir, I most assuredly need your help right now, this moment, sir. Please, if you would, take pity upon this poor Southern soul they burned my farm to the ground, sir. My wife is with child. Did I mention that? And just like lay it on super thick and like right in his face, kind of like grabbing him by the arm to like drag him back with me. Kind of just sort of making doing that, just like talking so much he can't get a word in thing. Just a stream of bullshit, contradictory, my story changes every 3 minutes kind of thing. But I think I managed to drag him back to the edge of the swamp sufficiently that, the two of you set upon him, and I don't know if we just like, and I think, yes, yeah, like boom, you're there. And then he starts to open his mouth, and like, I've got that skinning knife like up under his chin, and I'm like,
you're gonna
like right in his face, like quiet,
Cain, you're finally gonna do something to help the Union. And I got them to actually, I want something Cain say something. Cain Jr. is gonna fuck you guys up. They're gonna fuck you good and proper when he knows I've gone missing. And it's a moment like me, I'm petrifying, you know what I mean? I'm proper petrifying. But they see my face completely freeze, and I say, "We've got to get going." If I knew he was here, there's no way I would have come here. He'll be after us like quicker than a very florid metaphor.
I mean, I think
that's me playing another card, which is
I think when these kind of threats and the fear is ripe, I think Ross Tucker just like puts his saber against Cain's gut and says, "Worry about us." Yeah, in a kind of edge that you may not have quite seen from Isaac before.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I'm hurrying away. I think disgrace I'm going to select for this, because it feels like we're sort of heading to this kidnapping random people. Is maybe enough for that. I forgot.
Oh, not random. You picked him for a very specific reason, but yeah, kidnapping a brother is certainly,
Yeah. Cool. And I think that's probably the end as we kind of head off.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot I can do there.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
Do you want to add another detail, Jim, before we move on?
I think I do. Which is that that like as we're leading him, I'm kind of looking at him, and I'm watching like how he walks, and I'm looking at how he's dressed and stuff like this and everything. And I like reach over and I pluck his pocket watch, and I like carefully put it in my like pocket watch, like I set it up like like he had it set up, and I turn to the corporal and I'm like, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm gonna play. Let me go ahead and play that. Yeah. And so is this guy your brother, Sergeant, or how's he related to you?
Brother, like it's this one say. Yeah, but I was going to say, like, obviously, adopted brother is the best way of putting it. One family member dying, so it's like we were raised together for a time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's not get too confused.
And the
so story.
Maybe one of those like half brothers that we don't officially acknowledge is actually a half brother kind of thing, or something like that. Yeah. That's
yeah. I don't know about you, Dunham, but my family history is a bit more tangling than the roots in these these swamps. It's,
sorry, I apologize. I was asking as a player.
Oh, as a player,
like kind of what whether you said anything to us about your relation to him.
Not, I hadn't said as a player. No, I left it. I probably would have been better to say cousin rather than brother.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But also, if I said Kane Jr., I meant to say Kane Senior.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
As in, like, I'm suddenly gone back to Preacher, so I'm sort of picturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If it's the cousin that fucks chickens, we're not worried about that. But if it's his big brother,
the other guy,
then it's a problem. Okay. Exactly. I think that's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to wrap that, Kieran, or are you happy with where we are?
I was heading off with dragging the brother. That feels like the end to me.
Okay, cool. Are we getting any kind of feedback from our friendly neighborhood ghost, or what do you think, Garth?
Sorry, what do you asking?
No, I mean, I was just giving you a chance to jump in with some words in our ear, or.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's kind of awkward, isn't it? Because like I should be able to just walk around and yeah. No, I'll think about that.
Okay, no worries. So I think I'll set the scene, and we have been going through this swamp for hours now, and I think we have very little sense that we're close to an edge, but I think I'm holding Kane's collar, and I have the sword at my side. And up ahead, I hear maybe Dunham is out ahead, kind of scouting and just checking that we're going in the right direction. We're taking a lead from Kane. And I think I hear your boot. Your I don't know if you're wearing your regular army boots or the ones we stole. But your boot hits wood, right? Like planking. And this is a sign to me that we have kind of got to the edge. And I kind of release Kane and take a step back. And I think, if you're clued in at all to Isaac's mood or body language, I'm going to skewer that guy because he's brought us as far as is useful.
And like, this is absolutely the awfulness here in this kind of like, and I think it almost says like, don't do it, Isaac, you don't want to do that.
Why not, Sergeant?
I saw your face, your whining little face when I forced you to do your job. You killing someone in a cold blood in the middle of the swamp. I don't think you've got the guts for it. You got the heart for it. You're going to go up to the north and tell stories about this, what we're like. If someone's to do it, it should be someone from around here.
And I think I grab Kane's collar again and like swing him around towards you. And then looking you straight in your eyes, say, "You don't think I've got the guts for it?" Thrusts the saber right through his back, coming out his belly. And like, it's like cutting something. It's stabbing a pumpkin for all the emotion you see in my eyes. I'm just looking at you.
And when I realize what's going to happen, I step up next to Isaac, and like as the sword is going in, I clamp a hand over his mouth so that the scream that starts to come out, is like muffled behind my hand.
Yeah.
And again, this is like looking at the two of you as I've got my hand over his face, while he's, the life is draining out of him.
Yeah. Hanging on the fucked up foot, I just sort of see this kid, this traitor, but it's still kin. And I sort of look to Isaac, and it's, so now do you feel like a soldier, Yankee boy? Throw him in the swamp. Someone might as well eat if it's not us.
I think I just like let him fall into your arms if you're close enough. You should do that, Sergeant. I'm no fucking Yankee.
And I found myself sort of thinking, I've got the note I'm going to write in it. Kane Senior. If you find this, so when you find this, and if you can read now, I can't remember if Kane Senior can read or not. I suspect he can. He's smarter than people I've always thought. It was the corporal who did it. You should kill him first and longest. And I'm going to play. Choose between your honor and your duty. Which is the kind of like some weird familiar shit's just come up for him. And then it's like, Lord, forgive me. But we deserve everything. And
okay, and that worked.
And I roll him into the swamp, and he bounces off. I got the image of this big guy moving in almost after the scene and finding the body, almost without speaking.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm happy to wrap that scene. Jim, you wanna?
Yeah, I think you said because the planking starts up again, we are, we're on the road for a little bit, and we've got to be very cautious, and we kind of, come around a corner, and there is a bridge, and it is the only way across a particularly nasty sucking, like water moccasin infested stretch of fairly broad water, right? I mean, this is like almost like something that might be like it would be a river if it flowed at all, but we're still kind of in the swamp country here. But this is like the only way across without, your neck deep in, disgusting water filled with poisonous snakes is across this bridge. And there is and there are some Union soldiers there guarding it, and they have pried up the floorboards to make it hard. Like the cross planks are still there, so you can kind of walk across it carefully and slowly. Like you can walk across it, but like you couldn't bring a horse across it or something like that. And there's just like a couple of kind of twitchy, anxious-looking Union soldiers there. I turn back to the sergeant, and I'm like, what do we do, Sergeant?
As a player, it's like the situation is we're abstractly going to be read as deserters at the moment. So, or can we actually have any hope of talking our way past? Like as a player, or is it like, do we get like, just make sure I understand the fiction? If not, I can bluff it in this way.
I mean, either way, right?
Yeah.
Because, even if these guys recognize as soldiers, who's to say the next company will, right?
I mean, like one of the ever-present dangers is that someone may decide we're deserters and act accordingly. And so it's not like automatically you encounter someone, they think you're deserters, they shoot you. It's like you got to deal with convincing them you're not, or silencing them if they're whatever. Like that's an obstacle, and not necessarily like a whatever, like a barrier to progress, right? It's like the it's not a fait accompli how that ends.
Cool.
But it is a danger that exists.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, follow me. Come on, we'll get through this. Help me up, as I'm still, my foot's still a mess, so I'm sort of limping. And I get the feeling this weirdly adds a level of convincingness. Sure. This is a battle where this is not something people do to themselves. Yeah. We're certainly not malingering.
All right. And so I get under your arm, and like hoist you up, and we're gonna walk on. I think you're probably like I'm fairly slight, right? I'm a like slide around in the swamps, little swamp rat. Maybe like 5'4" or something like this, and 100 pounds soaking wet. And you're this big, fat, mutton chopped, like looking dude, and like I'm kind of staggering under your weight, but nonetheless, I've still got the now very ratty, wet, muddy, I think like it's all messed up, but that tie is still perfect, right? Because I've been assiduously tying it every morning to make sure that it looks right. But I'm otherwise a mess, yeah. And I'm kind of staggering under your weight as we approach that bridge.
Okay, I've done this before. So that's how long I've been I was sort of telling Henry, I was a private for a very long time. It took me a certain there were certain activities I had to choose to do to get to become the sergeant you see yourself. I'll get us through this. This isn't the first time I've limped back from battle and try to get in the lines. Sort of speak up and sort of how many miles is it, like, is it 20 miles to the town we're heading to? I sort of speak is the greeting. As in, ignore the private to one side. It's like we have had a hell of a few days here. And I sort of imagine them sort of broadly I know, just trying to they get the feeling that we could have shot them because there's only a couple of them, and there's a kind of like, and it's asking, what the hell are you doing? Who told you to do this? So I sort of try to find out what they're up to, and see how much of a damn they give. It's like we're trying to just get through. Can we got some really good cigars, and you should probably do some smoking out here if you want.
Beat me to it.
It's like, should we actually everyone light up a cigar at this moment? Even looking at Isaac saying, come on, play along.
Yeah, and I pull out my little skinning knife and I break the seal on one of those, the paper seal on one of those boxes of cigars. And I kind of flip it open and I hold it out to the soldiers, and there's like dubiousness looking back and forth and all that kind of stuff and everything. But eventually everybody takes one, and I use my skinning knife to like, cut the tips off and stuff and everything. And I pull out the matches I had before, and one by one I go around, and I'm just kind of acting like more obsequious than you guys have ever seen me before. Probably I've kind of, fallen into this mode of I'm lighting everybody's cigars, and I hand them all out, but I'm not, I'm letting you guys do all the talking here, but just kind of being hospitable for everyone.
I think Isaac is, playing along because this is kind of an important moment. I think he even pretends to be friendly with Sergeant Eager, help him light that cigar, if he needs to take a load off, right?
Yeah.
And asks about what unit they're in and all that kind of stuff. Looking the normal scuttlebutt that passes between soldiers.
what do you guys answer when they? How do you answer when they ask what the deal with me is with this civilian you're traveling with?
Turns out that Traces are really full of blood, and the good private here found himself, a little makeover.
And I stand and give a proper salute, right?
Yeah. He may be dressed like a North Carolinian piece of gentry traitor, but inside him beats the heart of a true Union man.
And if you don't mind me saying, sir, it has been a brilliant stratagem in terms of hoodwinking some of these gutter trash around here.
Yeah, and I think maybe Isaac is kind of loosening up, and he says, like, you next time we come down here, you look out for the Grimsley plantation. That's where these cigars come from. You'll have no trouble getting your hands on these. Plenty of boxes.
And yeah, and kind of we sort of wrap it up. There's everybody smoking the last bits of their cigars and stuff like that. And I think as we are bidding them goodbye, I look at the sergeant and I say, sir, we can make it very hard for us to be followed from here. And I like open my coat and I've got like one of those sticks of dynamite kind of stuck in my.
It's like light the cigars, Private.
And I flick a match, puff on it, and kind of like touch it to the stick of dynamite, back to them as we're walking away. And then I just kind of drop it and let it roll, just sort of roll along until we're, off the bridge. And then there's that big explosion behind us. And again, swamp water sprays and, splinters of wood all over the place. And, I don't think we see what happens to those two soldiers, but we have, just effectively deterred pursuit. And I do kind of stand for a moment, kind of with an impressed look on my face, and let out a long, slow whistle, as everything is falling down and like all that kind of stuff and everything.
You're going to go a long way, Private Dunham.
Great.
Hopefully all the way to New York, Sergeant.
So, yeah, seems like a good place to wrap. I love it when a plan comes together style.
Yeah.
Gareth, do you want to set a scene? So you're not going to draw an action card, but you do get to set a scene. And if you incorporate the prompt from the card you play, you get to apply it to one of us as a penalty.
Yeah, okay. So I have a. Oh, look, if you drag them out, they go face down right away. I didn't realize that. That's just a feature of the card thing. If you drag a card out, it seemed to flip it over right away. I didn't realize that. Anyway.
Yes, yeah. It will put it out face down unless you, like when you move it to the public area, it automatically does it face down unless you tell it that you want to actively flip it. This is a great program for doing cards.
Yeah, this is really good. I wasn't aware of it.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Really yeah, this looks really useful. So I have this one here that is like a slave and her 5 children fleeing a plantation. I don't know if everyone's cool to introduce that. I feel like it's more like a scene of like she is just someone vulnerable that needs your help, and it's like, what are you guys going to do burdened with that, because being the guys you are, kind of thing. I don't really know who to assign it to. It's quite arbitrary and punitive. Just I'm just gonna like ruin someone's game. Just
Yeah.
no,
Well,
I don't really have a
ruin.
reason.
not
like,
ruin.
I don't. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm not sure the lieutenant has any particular like grudges against anybody. So it's like.
For me to define one, I mean, like you're meant to hate me, and I keep on getting, you know.
I mean, and the super important thing to keep in mind, Gareth, as a player, is regardless of what happens here, we all get to keep playing. So you're not messing with anybody's ability to be in the game. You know, do the thing that is interesting to you story-wise to see somebody get messed with. You know, and like
you did have the person to your left loads you, right? So what? I'm totally like this got over my head this whole time. Right. So okay, so the lieutenant loads the sergeant, right?
Yeah.
It's just completely sorry about okay, yeah, so I think he would put it there, right? So
I mean, we don't know yet because we haven't seen that introduced.
I could certainly narrate a reason around it. It's because I play my card in the mix there, because it's these people are trying to we find these people are trying to escape, and as we kind of it's not the scene goes that they come up and we're trying to help. You know, there was a conversation, like we're in no state to really help anybody in that kind of way, but there's a conversation going on there, and I sort of found myself sort of thinking back to and like this isn't okay for you, Charles, as in, oh yeah, the thing is, what crime could I have possibly done? I said I've been a private forever. That's always the kind of way, and I just wanted to rain God's vengeance upon this dumb fucking traitorous state, and he can't do that as a private enough. And they were never, due to the extreme strength of my opinions, going to make me an NCO, especially like, you know, no one like Shanks would, until I kind of like blackmailed him. That's why I'm a criminal. And I got the image of you, like somehow me discovering you were still kind of doing something involved in the slave trade still. So you're still getting money from the South despite abstractly fighting for the Union in that. So I've somehow discovered that. And that's how I blackmailed you to make me an NCO. So me seeing these, you know, helping these sort of interacting with these slaves reminds me of the awfulness of Charles Shank in that.
That's it. Let's all just keep pissing on the dead guy. That's totally fine.
It's like, what other crime is like you were like finding something you were bad enough? What could I
cool. It makes sense. It's totally fine.
Okay.
So that's so I think you're just on the road, you know, passing through where these plantations are. It's like one it's probably like burnt down or something. Is like the chaos has allowed this woman to escape, and you see her fleeing out from the fields. Just sort of stumbles out right in front of you, right? Like because of the crops, you don't see her until she's right there. And you know, she's like her youngest child. She's like carrying in her arms, and the other ones are, you know, pretty young, and they're all running for their lives basically. And yeah, that's how the scene starts, I think.
Okay, so I guess we get to flip our cards to
say,
reveal our total.
Yeah, in fact, kind of like we don't. As we kind of separate from it, I got the idea of like I like to give him my pistol, you know, the one I stole, because just the kind of like I can't shoot straight anymore with it with one-handed. I can so just like that's the kind of closing of that scene as we move on. Not that it does anything, but cool.
Yeah, cool.
I should see the totals before I play the card.
No, no, you shouldn't.
Okay.
We flip everything at the end. So I mean,
okay. Right.
Your action, I guess, is you know, you can see how many cards we played, right? So you probably have an idea. So I have 7 total.
I can't do math. I have 12 minus 3, 9.
Still wins.
I've got 3.
Okay. So we can get rid of all these cards now. Jim, do you want to narrate a scene of death for poor old Private Henry Dunham?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. think it is one of these things where we are on the road. Oh, you know what? I think it's just like a night, like it's one of the nights in camp. We're just like, we're quietly around the campfire or something like that. And we're just in the middle of talking when I just drop, whatever, plate we were eating off, a little tin plate or something like that, and just snatch out, I lunge to the left of you, and God damn it, son of a bitch, I say, and I come up and I'm holding a water moccasin in my hand, right? And it's writhing and snapping and stuff like this, and you can see where it got me on the hand, just even as my hand comes up holding it, already there's the 2 marks there that are starting to bruise and stuff like this and everything. And I grab it by the tail and dash its brains out against the rock. But I'm looking at my hand going, Corporal, I saw it coming for you, and you're gonna need to, you should just go. You should get going, because this is not gonna, and I'm already starting to feel woozy, and I kind of my sentence sort of stops halfway through. I just collapse, into your arms if you're there and will catch me.
Yeah. I think I'll grab you, and even a city slicker like me knows that this is going to be pain beyond belief. And I think, I'll hold you in. I think I take out my pistol to put you out of your misery, right? I press it to your heart.
And I nod. And I close my eyes, kind of grit my teeth.
And I'll pull you in closer, and then so the pistol has nowhere to go, and I just pull the trigger.
Yep. And I'm kind of, and I have a hand against your cheek while it happens. Pull the trigger. Yeah, and I slump to the ground. And and that's definitely a pistol shot goes off,
Birds,
bats go flapping, and we hear animals moving and stuff. I'm they're gonna hear that for miles echoing through the trees, and so you have to move. You can't mess around with my body or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to keep moving, or do people want to take a break?
I'm good to keep going.
Yeah, I was about to say it's 3.5 hours. It's meant to be, wasn't it? On the
yeah. So I scheduled it to end in, I guess, 17 minutes. So we might run a little bit over, but maybe we can.
I'm good on that.
Keep things shorter than we might otherwise. I guess we do tend to fill the scenes, right? Okay. So so we have 2 ghosts. Kieran, you're still first in Act 3. Let me pull out the escape card for me. Sorry, you're not first. I'm first because I drew the scene. Yeah. I'm tired, but we're almost there. You can hear the news, river, and freedom. We'll make it yet. The 2 we've left behind, well, they were not North Carolina's finest, but they were our brothers, and I'll say they'll want us to march into New Bern and grab the first fancy girls we could find and get drunk as imbeciles in their memory. Shalln't we insult the last wishes of our great fallen? Another mile, then, I can smell the river. Brother, we have only to put one foot in front of the other. God has cleared our path. What could stop us now? Yeah, so I think what could stop us now is undoubtedly a proper picket line of, you know, I don't know, like the sixth Maine. You know, these guys are as Yankees they come. They're virtually Canadian, right? And insulting all parties there in one fell swoop.
They are all volunteers.
Yeah.
Not a single draftee among them. They take great pride in that fact. Yeah. This is my great grandfather. So yeah.
And you know, they look like they've been told that anything coming out of the swamp is a reb. It doesn't matter what kind of uniform they're using, because you know, half of the Confederates at this stage aren't wearing uniforms. They're just wearing whatever butternut, gray, whatever the poultry factories of the side can pump out. So we're not going to get a second chance. So I think we are, you're gonna maybe sneak around, maybe make a diversion. Maybe we've got a stick of dynamite left, and we're gonna, you know, set it off on a long fuse and use that as a distraction to just sneak through. You know, when we're behind the lines, we can come back up for air. So you've given me, I think, your stick of dynamite, and obviously I'm gonna have to do the running to and fro for the diversion, and just hope that you're sticking around to wait for me. Yeah, and I guess I set the fuse and get to running.
Sort of sitting there and watching this happen in this kind of like, I can't believe I'm still alive and I'm the one with no foot. There's a level of like the pathetic fallacies hitting kind of hard. Yeah. You know, like this entire country, it's at war with itself. We're being stopped to try to get to where we're trying to go. I'm hurting, you know, the land's hurting. All this kind of is merging together. And I was thinking, I've been hanging around with Isaac too long. I'm getting philosophical. You know, like this really isn't good.
I think when we, sorry, I'm not going to suggest that you're still there, but I think on the way back, I come across the wagon from a limber wagon from a cannon that's somehow not been snaffled up. Maybe there's something wrong with it, like the axle is broken or something like that. And inside there's an ammunition chest stuffed with the corpse of someone you know. And you know what? I think it is the kind of a touch of horror that it would be Dunham, right? That someone is basically stalking us, right? That someone has in his funeral finery put Dunham in this random limber wagon in the middle of nowhere.
And is he still dressed in those fine clothes? Or
yeah, for sure.
Okay, he's still dressed in those fine clothes. All right. But I think that like the collar is pulled, and whatever those necklaces he was wearing have been like you may even see like lacerations around his neck from where they just yanked him off. Like fold, because he's a tiny little guy. You could you could like fold him up and you know, if you like kind of mash his head down, you could, I'm sure, squeeze him into a box you would normally carry rifles in or something like that. That's creepy as hell. Yeah.
And I think I'm just standing there like in disbelief. And in fact, I have to fix your tie.
Yeah. All right. And I think, and that's, you have that, as you're fixing the tie, you totally feel that hand on your cheek, like vivid, clear as day, from when you shot me. And for a second, you think maybe the corpse actually reached up to touch you because it feels so real. but then you look down and yeah, no, I'm like blackened and reeking, you know, because like they didn't do anything to preserve my body or anything like that. And I kind of like the idea that it's like it's dressed like a funeral, but they've done nothing otherwise to prepare me for it. Yeah.
Can I add an element if people like it? Because that's what I was just googling, because I was trying to remember whether musket balls were still common here. But the idea of your eyes have been taken and replaced by musket balls as a kind of,
if that's a thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean they're going to be like big, like bigger than 50 cal probably. So they're big musket balls in this era for the most part. Yeah.
Sure.
In my head,
yeah.
when Kane Senior has a musket he's awfully fond of.
Yeah. I'm happy to wrap that scene unless you want me to get back to Igor. No?
Good.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it's your scene, Kieran.
Okay. I think it's like we've got the scene of setting us back together and say, okay, we can get past now. There's a good distraction, and then we kind of hard cut to us being pushed against the wall as we've been found and failed to get. So we've got a load of Union people, you know, these virtual Canadians are bashing and screaming at us.
What do we got?
I have no idea what a Maine accent sounds like, but I'm sure neither does Isaac Ross Tucker, right? It's like,
allow me, please. What do we got here, Henry? Looks like some rebels to me, James. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Trying to get past our lines, were they? So something like that. Yeah.
We just, you know,
we've got a court martial ready for you, boys.
Wait a minute. Do you think we're rebels or Union? Because if we're Union, you would court martial us, but otherwise you would just take us prisoner and send us to wherever. But I assure you, we are Union soldiers.
Well, we'll let the magistrate figure that out now, won't we? Or whatever, the judge advocate general.
Yeah. And I would say at this point, I've got the images like as we kind of panicked, someone comes in, a woman, kind of like matriarchal in this kind of, I'm not going to do much, but me trying to do a Southern Belle voice is literally would be the worst thing in the world. But kind of, what's happening here? What's happening here? And as she comes in, she just moves through the crowd like a force of nature, and people move, just this sense. She is Mrs. Davis, famous patriot in this kind of way. And he says, I'm good friends with the colonel. You cannot possibly, you know, and he looks at the remains of the uniform. These are Union men, not desert. You know, what do you do? Why are you here, eccentric? And she's turning to Isaac, kind of sort of trying to get what we're possibly going on here.
We were cut off back at where were we, Sergeant? Back at this crossroads at the forest when it burnt down around us. Yeah. We had to scamper through the swamps to come clear.
It was awful. And then there's Lemuel, of course, you know, he's still kind of on the edge. And I got the image of what he comes out. He just pretty much tells almost all the truth. Like, we were separated, and like there was no idea what's going on. Or, you know, the general, our lieutenant, he was going kill crazy. There was so much blood, a horse fell on me. We've had to fight and crawl ourselves for every inch of the swamp. And there's a bit of jeers from the Yankee soldiers, essentially. Imagine there's the kind of like the, you know, this is what these people are like. But the patriot matriarch, it just stops it. No, these men have clearly suffered enough, as is this country. We can't, you can't do anything else to them they haven't already done to themselves. This is the disgraceful state of our army. It shows how much we still have to do. And then awfully we're just let go and told to go on our way. And there's some laughter from them as we kind of limp off in shame is the kind of the way I go. And that's the disgrace card I'm getting from there.
And I think as we kind of look behind us in disbelief, a shot rings out from behind the lines we've just come through, and like hits me in my shoulder, just like above my stripes, my corporal stripes, which, you know, handily were identified, right? I'm the guy who killed Kane Jr. So yes, that is it's Isaac shot straight through the shoulder, you know, a big heavy round thumping into his body, tearing his flesh open.
Yeah, nice. I think that's we leg it, basically.
Okay, so now we have ghost. We have our ghost turn. So I think, Jim, you might go first. I don't know if the order is still the same.
Sure. I think I like that you have taken refuge in a church in town. You have basically sought sanctuary. And like, I don't know if the I think this is absolutely a, you know, you have to hide us thing to the pastor, you know, appealing to his you know, his Christian nature and describing how horrible the man that's after you is. And I think this is very much a thing where you are like, you know, like maybe even like maybe you're like up in the balcony or something like that, you know, laying down, you know, trying not to breathe as you are you know, as what's his name, Kane Sr. is there, just kind of doing that thing where he's just sort of like stalking around, looking at stuff, you know, kind of talking dismissively to the pastor, doing, you know, just like, but he actually, I think he actually is superstitious. And so, like, he'll do anything at all to you. You know, there's absolutely nothing he won't do to you outside the four walls of this building. But like, to the extent that there's any constraint or restraint on him, this place is what provides it. But, you know, it's still not going to be good if he finds you. And I think this is this thing where, like, you know, the pastor is, you know, chin up, defiant. He has the power of righteousness in God on his side, and he's not going to bow to the bullying of this guy, as this guy is, you know, but he also can't physically stop him. So they've got this like standoff going on, where he's just kind of walking around looking at things and stuff like that.
So you're gonna put that card next to one of the two of us.
And as you are hiding there, Sergeant Eager, that vision that you had before when you said like there's like an angel coming or something like that, you are there, you're lying on your back, and you can see one of the stained glass windows, right? And the figure of the angel in the stained glass window, like, you know, whatever time of day, the sun kind of peeks through it, and for a moment you're blinded, and like kind of through that glare resolves a vision of Private Dunham, kind of arms out like this. Oh no, like this, like with a handout, like he's like when you saw him put it to Corporal, and it's kind of like it's almost like a like is offering a benediction of some kind. But he's scrubbed clean, and that hair that he wore, like close cropped to his head, is now long and flowing, and his features are much more, like he's been scrubbed clean and everything. He's wearing this like flowing robe that kind of conforms to, and he's actually got some curves, and he looks like a woman, like a female angel, appearing through there. And I'm gonna put that on, which, Kieran, you're blue?
No, I'm yellow.
You're yellow, cool. I'm gonna drop that there over the top. And the angel says to you, this is your sin. He seeks you. Pay your penance. This is the only way to avoid a much greater punishment. As she, and that's my my thing that I'm an imposter because I took my brother's draft papers and joined the and so that he didn't have to go because my mother was so distraught, and so I've been impersonating my male brother, and this is what I would normally look like if I had not been. This is what I would if I was passing as feminine instead. So
that's great.
Okay.
I'm sort of saying that I said the sweat's getting pretty thick now. It's like the churches, the angels. I've been haunted by this all along. Everyone in Carolina is a sinner, and of course that includes me in this way.
So I guess that is that, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
So we can flip the cards, see what our totals are. I've got 4.
I have 2 minus something.
Minus whatever.
This is my who are you? Why are you hiding? What?
Okay.
Why are you hiding that from the character to your left? I mean, obviously, because I was in love with the character to my left. He was gonna teach me how to be a proper gentleman. And so that is how many points do I get for that? More than 2. 5.
I don't think it matters because
unless it's a minus figure.
Unless it's a minus,
yeah. So.
Okay, so
I'm on -3.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kieran, Eager is dying. Do you want to narrate your death scene?
I just turned to Isaac. Go, run now. I'll do what I have to. It shouldn't have to be like this. Remember that, Isaac. I drowned this country in blood. Thinking I could clean it with like that. But all you do, that doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work. Go. And if you leave, the image I've got is like me limping over to the organ and starting to play it, and playing some Union War song, and just sitting there playing the organ.
Oh, you start. It's definitely the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Battle Hymn of the Republic. Thank you. So I'm playing it.
Seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Yeah.
And I get the image of like Kane Senior, this big shadow we've never ever quite seen properly on camera yet, I imagine, walking slowly behind me. And the final shot is the hands curling around my neck like this, as if he's about to wring the neck of a chicken on the farm. And then the note would cut away, and the notes just falls discordant for a second, and then Edgar's gone, or Eager's gone rather.
Yeah, and I think if I have any kind of last glance, it's not to King Senior or to Sergeant Eager. It's at the stained glass window, right, of that angel. Okay, so this is the last escape card. If this is read or heard of in some future time, let the record show that on July 23rd, 1863, Isaac Ross Tucker returned to the world after being abandoned by General Edward Potter and God himself. Sergeant Eager, Private Dunham, Lieutenant are all dead. Their suffering will be forgotten. I'm its lone witness, and I choose not to etch it in my memory. Tomorrow I will either be hero or deserter shot dead. Either way, what happened between there and here will go to me in my grave. And that's it. I'll stop recording and we'll do a quick debrief. Thanks.